So can we all just agree that at its core, this is X-Men? I mean, there's nothing wrong with calling it X-Men. The anime gods decided they wanted to make one about Superman, so I'm pretty sure it's okay to call this X-Men. Welcome, my fellow wannabes, to my channel. I am Gabriel Fast. I am the wannabe critic. I'm coming at you with my very first TV show review. It's an anime. It's called My Hero Academia. It's pretty popular, so it was recommended to me by a friend to go through it. So I thought I would watch the first season and see if it was worth, talking about. And I can happily say that I think it is. So as I said before, this is kind of like X-Men. Basically, the human race has found out that more and more people are developing superpowers, and eventually it's gotten to the point to where the majority of society all develop these powers or quirks that do different things. So at the beginning of the show, you see like these bad guys, they're taking over the town, they're starting fires and stuff, and then of course the superheroes come in, the pros as they call them, come in and take care of business, kick butt, take names. You got like certain people with certain quirks that allow them to do specific things, like I said before, they were starting fires. So like a firefighter who has a quirk that lets him shoot water out of his hands, he comes and puts out the fires and things like that. Some of these people have more practical quirks, like the main character's mom. She can just make stuff like levitate towards her and things like that. I mean, quirks can do different things. So we're found with our main character, Izuku Midoriya. I think I'm saying that right, but everybody just calls him Deku. I'm not going to get into why everybody calls him Deku, but that's what they call him. And Deku was born without the ability to have a quirk. So basically, all he wants to do is to become a hero, just like his favorite hero, All Might. Without a quirk, that's probably never going to happen. So long story short, Deku meets up with All Might, and Deku starts freaking out. He's like, oh my god, you're All Might. I want to be a hero just like you, but I don't have a quirk. Is that possible? And then, in not so many words, All Might tells him, no, it's not possible to do that. A string of events happen to where Deku's friend is in trouble, and All Might is kind of indisposed at the moment, so he sees Deku try and go to save his friend, even though he doesn't have a quirk, and that really makes an impression on All Might. He's like, wow, this kid's really serious about this. Little do we know, at the time, All Might has the ability to pass down his quirk, which is unheard of, and as far as I know so far, he's the only one that can do this. He can pass down his quirk to anyone who he chooses, and since he sees that Deku is serious about becoming a hero, he decides to give his quirk to Deku. The first season is kind of focused around All Might training Deku to try and control his power, and I really, really liked that they focused on that. It was kind of like watching Rocky a little bit, and even like some of the older anime like Naruto and things like that, watching them trying to develop that power. It's super accelerated in this first season compared to like Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, but still it's entertaining to watch that feeling of betterment, that feeling of getting better, and not being able to control a specific part of your life, but it's the idea that certain parts of your life you'll never be able to control, but what you can control, you should really have really good control over it. So I really like that idea. It's super interesting to see All Might and Deku's dynamic, as well as all of the other students that are trying to learn how to become heroes so that they can fight crime just like their favorites. That's kind of all I want to talk about as far as the plot goes, because there's a lot of stuff that there's so many things you can go into with the TV show on season 1, but there's 13 episodes in the first season, and I felt it was a pretty healthy length. Now let's kind of get into the stuff that I wasn't crazy about. The main character, Deku, is incredibly endearing at times. He has a ton of heart, but at times it's a little too much heart. The first 6 or 7 episodes, he cries multiple times in every single episode. Not even kidding you. And that got old for me super duper fast. I mean, whenever you're going to release an anime, you have to think about previous protagonists like Luffy, Goku, Naruto, and all of those supporting characters that were in those shows as well. And I get that it's for a new generation, but as an old timer who watched all of those old shows, 10, 15 years ago, it's going to be hard for My Hero Academia to stack up to that, but I do think it has potential to do so if they go the right way with the characters. Now, I think there's like 150 episodes or something out already, so there's probably some people out there that are like, just watch the rest of it. I'm going to. I was really, really excited to see that there's so many episodes. I definitely want to keep going until I can't anymore. But I really, really liked this. Christopher Sabat, he voices All Might. Christopher Sabat is also the guy who plays Vegeta and Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z, and I love him. He's like one of my favorite voice actors of all time. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this first season. The villains were interesting and kind of were left on a cliffhanger. The heroes all have super duper cool powers, and it's a funny cast. I mean, I laughed out loud multiple times in this first season because there's so many kind of like tropey, they really play off that demographic and that dynamic, and I thought it was really, really funny. I mean, it's definitely worth watching, especially if like your kid is into it and they're watching it. I think it would be really hard for a parent to not enjoy watching right alongside with them. So that's just my opinion. So as always, if this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. I talk about a lot of different stuff on this channel, and I'm trying to grow it and talk about a mixture of things. So consider subscribing if that's something that you're into. If you like the style of this video, I have a bunch more on my channel that'll probably be listed after this video posts. So please consider subscribing. Comment, let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what you thought of the first season of My Hero Academia. Definitely slap like and ring that bell, and we will see you next time. As always, thank you for preparing yourself for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the wannabe critic.